it was like the cheesiest moment I've ever did in my life, but I'm glad I did it now. Like I like put the camera on me, and I'm like over here in the corner, so I'm like, I don't really know if I want people to see me. Like I gotta act like I've been here before. And like I was just like, I shook my head and I said wow, and like I held up like the media pass and like to the camera.
You already know. You hear me rubbing my hands, you know we are back. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Serum podcast. I'm your host, Clay Bonine. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Tanner Mavis. And we're back with another interview episode today. Our guest today is an artist, but not necessarily like any of the ones that we've had on before.
Well-known traveler of the world, a visual artist, former NKU Intramural basketball referee, and most notably, the content creator for NBA Allstar D'Angelo Russell.
Today in the studio, we have Logan Linkmeyer with us. Logan, please, come on in.
Hell yeah.
Our huge studio audience again, giving him claps and woos.
You're gonna hear hella fake audience in the background clapping for you.
How you doing, sir?
Oh shoot, give me a sec.
No, you're good. Get adjusted here.
Appreciate it.
How you
I'm
feeling? Are
doing
you
good.
comfy? You
Yeah,
good? Do you need
fire.
more wire?
I
You
want to say
fine?
thank you for the intramural shout out. Being a referee played a big part in my life, so I appreciate that.
My roommate Ben Hafer, when I told him that you were coming on, he's like, yeah, you remember he used to ref an intramural, and I was like, oh yeah, and he was like, yeah, one time I got hacked, and I looked at him and he didn't call it. I told him I was gonna bring it up, so
Bro, intramural officiating, especially like you're making like $7.25, you don't want to be there. It's just like, dude, just let me play my game. Everyone's gonna like complain, everyone's gonna yell at you. So it's like, bro, I didn't see that foul. Or like you see a travel and you're like, oh. So it is what it is.
You're also not reffing professional basketball
Oh, yeah.
players. You can't be
Bro.
super strict on
Yeah.
people.
I mean, and you're in college, so like you want to see some people get hit. So it's like the tough layup, bro. Come on. So.
Like we mentioned, Logan is or what? I mean, do you want us to call you Link? Do you want us to call you?
It really
Logan?
doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Link,
matter. Okay.
Log, whatever.
Logan is the content creator for D'Angelo Russell. Makes pretty much everything that you would see D'Angelo Russell in on the internet. He's also a Northern Kentucky University EMB graduate. Tracy Songer, Sarah Drabick, Chris Strobel, stand up.
Yeah,
look at where we're at now. But before we get into anything about you traveling, any of the D'Angelo Russell NBA stuff, life lessons, when and why did you pick up a camera? Like how? Because everybody like who creates videos kind of has a moment. Everybody kind of has where the seed got planted. What is that for you?
Mine took a long time. It's like develop really. So like the seed was planted like in high school. We had like this media class that like we had to produce like a show every Wednesday for our school.
Mm-hmm.
But like I enjoyed that, but it didn't really like click. And I didn't go to NKU to be an EMB student. I went for like an accounting major. So I actually,
Yikes.
My mom was like super big on me being an accountant. And so I had like a B in there at midterm. And I was like, yo, I really hate this. And so I told my mom I wanted to switch majors. She was like, no. And so I was like,
damn.
All right. And then, so I did not show up to we had 2 exams left, like the third one and then the final. So I didn't show up to either so I could fail it. So I could switch out. I was like, Mom, look, this isn't for me. The reason I chose EMB was because I made this like fake ESPN 30 for 30 of Tanner Campbell.
Oh yeah. Legendary, bro.
And so it like I don't even remember how many views I'm getting, but like it like low key like went like NKU viral and everyone knew who Tanner was because of it.
Actually, now that you say that, I definitely saw that.
After this is over, we're pulling it up.
Yeah,
I haven't
that's
seen it in a
funny
minute.
So that was like,
Shout out Tanner Campbell, by the way.
Yeah, he's
Love you, bro.
a legend for sure. But that was like the reason that I was like, all right, I'm being EMB student because it was so much fun making it. And
Yeah.
like, it was all in good fun. So.
Nice. So then, so you'd never like shot a photo or shot a video like seriously other than that moment in high school?
Like, yeah,
Or
I
that class?
never shot a photo. Like, I wish I saw all my Instagram photos from when I was in high school. Like, I had no like vision of taking photos. Or anything. But then, yeah, video wise, it was just like, all right, let's make a funny video this week.
I think that's like a reoccurring story of like a lot of creatives. Like they do something funny, something like
something for your own personal gain. 'Cause
Something
that's where it
fun, like
starts with.
I remember we used to fucking freestyle in the basement with the
Yep.
boys, just
Yep.
chilling.
Yep.
So like, and I know, like that was like a seed like planted for
For
me
sure.
wanting to get into music. Like saying
For
you
sure.
did, just made a funny highlight reel for Tanner Campbell and
Yeah.
at the NKU Intramural. Like, I don't know, for some reason that is like where it's like planted because you're just having fun. You're just
Exactly.
enjoying it, and then you're just like, oh, like I really like this.
Exactly.
Like I'm really passionate about doing this. Like I actually want to take this seriously.
yeah.
And going off that, I think like we're from such small towns. Like if you look at like the world and like the United States in general, like we're from really small towns. Me especially. Like I went to-
Friendship, Indiana,
I
right?
am
That's
too,
like
bro.
that's like Versailles kind of area,
I went
right?
I went to high school in Versailles, but like I grew
With
up in Friendship.
South Ripley,
South
right?
Ripley, yeah.
Shout out
This
South
man-
Ripley.
Yeah, this man did his homework. But like, so there was nobody doing stuff like that
Yeah.
around here. So
Yeah.
then like having fun, doing little things, it's like, I actually enjoy this. Like what else is out there?
So it sounds like because for a lot of people going to college like doesn't make sense, and that's absolutely correct for a
Yeah.
lot of people. But it sounds like going to college at NKU, which is a small school, but compared to Friendship,
Yeah.
Indiana, is a complete
for
culture
sure.
change. It sounds like that actually helped you a lot. Maybe not
Yeah.
like educationally per se, but
Yeah.
just as far as like your look on the world and everything.
I have the same stance on this anytime someone talks about college, because I think college for a lot of people is finding who you are.
Mhm.
And
For
if
sure.
that's the case, like if you're 17, 16, whatever, and you have the Gary V mindset, and you know, like I have this entrepreneur mindset, this and this, I want to do this, by all means, don't go to college. Like, you know what
Yeah.
you want to do,
Yeah.
pursue it, especially in the world we live in today.
Mm-hmm.
But if you, like someone like me, like I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Same.
I went to NKU and I'm a completely different person when I graduated. So I needed it. Like I
Yeah.
didn't need the classes. Like I just needed to experience college to figure out who I was.
Mhm.
Yeah. You needed the relationships. You
Mhm.
needed to submerge yourself into, meet other people, meet people that have come from different places, different influences. Join a fraternity like we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I think I can attest to it. I know you can. Joining Pike, helped me develop my confidence
For
and
sure.
really, having guys push me to be the best
Mhm.
version of myself.
Exactly.
And I really, I want to shout all those guys out, all my close friends and everybody that's ever went through, really helped me, push myself and, really take my craft and my passion seriously.
Absolutely. I think that's like for like just fraternity life in general. It's like it doesn't really matter like which one you really go through, because it really, like in the beginning of like your rush week or whatever, it's just like you have the one guy that like you actually mess with. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna go with whatever.
Mhm.
But it's like at the end of the day, like you just find yourself, you find your close friends. Some people you probably won't ever talk to again, but then you have the people that you're always gonna keep in somewhat contact with.
Yeah.
And that's what's dope about it.
I want to ask this question because we've kind of like beat around it. So he said when the seed was planted for when you want to do video, what was, I had this question that I wrote down. So what was like, I think every creative, when they want to take their craft to like the next level, they have like what I call like an enlightening like moment. Like what was the moment where you're just like, okay, like I'm taking this serious. I'm taking a leap of faith.
For sure.
I have a plan and I'm going to execute it. What was like, was there a moment? Was there, something that happened to you where it's like, I'm doing this and like, I don't care what anybody says, like, this is what I want to do.
This is where it's going to be really funny and come full circle. So I can't find the messages, but I remember you texted me or DM'd me on Twitter, and it was like an interview of Cole Bennett.
Yeah.
And this was before like we did anything with Zach. This was before like any of that. And you said like, bro, like you're mad talented. Like we should really like look into doing some stuff, like blah, blah. And the interview was like an hour and 30 minutes long. Like I think I listened to like the first like 15 minutes of it. I was like, yeah, this guy's dope.
Yeah.
And then I remember we were playing like my senior year, we were playing like a preseason basketball game. It was me, you, and Grant standing on the sideline. I remember this conversation.
Wait, did you all go to the same high school as well?
No.
We just talked about this.
Yeah,
Never
no.
mind. Sorry.
College.
And so we were all standing there, and like you said something to me about making videos, and I said like, bro, like I don't know if I have like the right mindset sober to like make stuff like that. And you said like that's the beauty of it, is like when you find the creativity to be able to like do stuff at any mindset, any state, that like you can be creative for the rest of your life or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, like this guy just hit me with some serious stuff right here. And I'm pretty sure that was like, I was like, yeah, like let's do it. And then like a couple weeks later, like you introduced me to Zach, and then I made like a random first video for Zach on like the first song drop. But then the second one, it was like too many or something, and like I actually like took After Effects. I was like, all right, let me see what this is really about.
Yeah.
And after I dropped that, I was like, yo, this is dope. Like this is dope.
I remember that like promo video too. Like that was definitely like, I was like, oh shit, like this looks like a movie.
Yeah, it was like
you took it to another level.
That was kind of like the moment where I was like, yo, this could be something really cool.
Yeah.
And I knew at that time I was like, music videos were really dope, but it's like I knew that really wasn't me, but it was really cool getting to like, that was, I feel like, my start of really like figuring some stuff out.
That's awesome.
So then how does shooting this video for Pango turn into kind of the travel videos that you make? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I gotta imagine that's what like caught the attention of D'Lo's brother and of D'Lo, I'm sure was all the travel videos that you made. And you have, I mean, a pretty good like chunk of those videos. So how did it go from the preseason game to making the travel videos?
So when we started making videos for Zach, like obviously I knew that really wasn't my scene. And so that was like right when Tanner started making Soul Serum. Like I remember like the day after going to Zach's basement and seeing the whiteboard of you and Mo, and I was like, yo, that's sick. Like I remember all that. I remember the group message and stuff. But then I started having like more of like a fallout of it. And it was more because I was still figuring out who I was.
Yeah.
We all were. Yeah, for sure. And like that was like when I was like graduating and I needed like a 9 to 5. Like so I was working this job at this company, making like really good money, but I like tell everyone, I was like, I was working 42 hours a week, but I was watching YouTube videos 42 hours a week. So I had 2 screens up, YouTube and this. And so I was like looking up some kind of effect. Like I don't remember, I was making a video for somebody for free. And I was like, yo, I wonder what you could do to do this. And I saw this like travel video and it was from Sam Colder, like my year 2016. I was like, whoa. Yeah. Like I had never traveled anywhere at this point. Like I didn't do anything. I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like this dude's like enjoying life, living like a baller lifestyle, and he's literally just traveling the world and filming it. And so I immediately texted my friend Eric. I was like, yo, let's go to the Gorge. Went to the Gorge, had a great time. And then the traveling just started like taking off from there, because it was like, yo, you can travel, we could see the world. Like from Friendship, Indiana, like I woke up and saw cows and cornfields my whole life. Like there's got to be more stuff out there. So that was kind of like what started the traveling. So.
Yeah. And what I'm sure, you know, going from waking up and seeing cows and cornfields and then realizing you can travel, you got a little addicted, I gotta imagine, to traveling in these last couple of years. What year did you graduate from
2014.
NKU? 2014. Okay, gotcha. So, and then you said this was 2016, 2017?
No, so I started traveling, I think I went to the Gorge in the summer of 2015, spring or summer of 2015, I think. And then I went to like Yosemite, and then boom, just kept going.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's rad.
Wait, 2014, not 2018.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2018, because I remember you started like you started doing your own thing with Eric and traveling and stuff. I remember that was like this, like after the Soul Serum kind of thing, and then you guys started traveling a lot more and posting those videos.
2014, I'd be hella old if I was.
Yeah. Shout out Eric Lano too. We went to Rolling Loud together in 2017. He was the guy with the GoPro, bro, and he would like literally he be in the fucking mosh pit, just like holding the GoPro up. I'm just like, let's go. But it's funny, like now as you say Eric, I just like put that memory together. Like he always wanted to be the one to like capture moments, stuff, which is really cool.
He's doing his own thing right now too. He's kind of found out like this little like niche of this like drone flying that's insane.
Yeah,
he's still rocking a GoPro, but his stuff's next level.
So let's get into a little bit of the meat and potatoes here. We'll come back out and kind of round out this conversation. But as we mentioned in the intro, you're D'Angelo Russell's video content creator. Is that like the correct title? Do you have a specific?
Yeah. What do you want to be
chief
known for?
Content creator.
Let's set the stage.
Executive.
Like I honestly like you could really say anything. I know in the beginning it was like everyone would be like, oh, who's this? And D'Lo would always be like, oh, that's my video guy.
Yeah.
And I remember we were sitting down on the couch downstairs, and he was like, It's like, bro, like I hate that. And like then it was like what are you, like this and that, because it's like I don't really like work for him. Like he always like, nah, we're like boys, like this and that.
Yeah.
So now it's just like oh, this is like my content guy, my video specialist. Like it really doesn't matter. But then like now it's more of like, this is my brother, this is my boy.
Yeah.
So it's like
That's so far.
it's kind of just like evolved over time.
Yeah.
But
Well, how did well, before we get into the how and why, can you just give us a brief summary of exactly like what this entails, you being the video content creator? Like, is this all social media? Are you putting stuff out like through the Timberwolves, through the Warriors, things like that?
I've done stuff like, I remember I took some pictures for the Warriors. I've like, the Timberwolves is a lot different. They're like more like wanting to be like, D'Lo is more of a cornerstone piece than he was for the Warriors,
Right.
And so like the Timberwolves are always like, yo, can you send us some stuff here, send us this? So it's like I'm doing a lot more stuff for the T-Wolves.
That's so dope.
But as far as for D, like if you look at his social, he's not really putting out that much stuff. And we have so many, like I couldn't even tell you how many terabytes of footage like I have.
That's funny you say that. I was watching, I think it's the D'Angelo trade video. And I was like realizing, I was like, he has so many little like 3-second snippets from like one in the back seat of the car, one when y'all are chilling at the crib, one cheersing with like D Wade and like shit like that. I'm like, that it looks like you record a lot, like everything, but you're only putting out, you know, a couple minutes at a time.
Just me like talking about him, like bragging on him for a second. Like he's like one of the most real and genuine people. And so like that's kind of like what those videos like I try and show, because he is. But there's just so many more like meat in those videos that like it's just not, world's not ready to see yet.
Right, so. Right. And you also can't, the NBA to me, from an outsider looking in, seems like the people in the NBA almost like are in their own fraternity of the NBA. Sure. So people seem very protective and conscious of what they would put out and what D'Angelo Russell would put out of one of his teammates or something like that too.
Yeah, I mean the NBA in itself for sure is a fraternity. Like everyone, like at the end of the day, is gonna mess with the other person because it's like
you've reached the highest level
the top,
of your
man.
Passion.
There's just like there's nobody else in the world that can relate to what you do.
Yeah,
like just looking at it still like from a closer perspective and like still being able to, it's like wow. Yeah, you're just amazed.
So give us now a little bit of the backstory. I mean, you don't have to go super detailed. I'm sure people ask you this all the time. But how did you get in touch with D'Angelo's brother, and then how did that in turn?
So a lot of people don't know this, but Tone and the oldest brother Sean, he still goes to NKU, but Tone went to NKU.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I was
shout out Louisville. I didn't even get to say it. D'Angelo Russell, 502, stand up. Anywho, go on.
But it was like my first or second day on campus, and I knew absolutely no one. And growing up where I grew up, it was super like I was,
you know, everybody.
Yeah, you know everybody.
Indiana.
And I think I was in 7th grade or 8th grade, and there was one black person in our entire school. He was a senior. Thad, shout out Thad. But I thought he was the coolest person ever. So I was the kid that I'm playing like 2K, I'm playing like NBA Live, and like Dwayne Wade's on the cover, and I'm like, yo, like I really like Dwayne Wade, so I'm over here like I'm making myself light skinned with cornrows because I really like Melo, like stuff like that. And I was just fascinated by it. Got me into Jordan, stuff like that. But you never really got to experience things like that where I grew up. And so I got to NKU, and I'm hooping. It's like noon ball, so there's really nobody playing. It's like just a bunch of like people that are kind of trash, to be honest. But there's this one guy, he's wearing like Nike Roshi runs or Flyknits, and he's out here just boom, boom, splash, like killing. I'm like, yo, who is this guy? So I was like, introduced myself, like, yo, I'm Logan, blah, blah. He's like, I'm Tone. Nothing really came of it. We kept seeing each other in the rec, talking to each other, chilling. I started getting closer with Zay, Zay's one of their good friends. And then Tone, I think I didn't even know D was his brother. So me and D are the same age. So he was a freshman too. And I had no idea Tone and D were brothers. And D's up at Ohio State killing. And some dude came up to me in the rec like, you see Tone's brother last night? And I'm like, no, like, why would I see his brother? And he was like, you didn't watch him? I think he played like Northwestern or IU or something. He was like, you didn't watch him last night play? You got like 30. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, pull up a picture. I was like, oh my my gosh. Like, they look at it. I was like, yeah, I can see it. So I said something to Tone, and me and Tone kind of have like that like nerdy basketball like mindset. We love talking about it and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think like Emmanuel Moutier was in the draft, Jalil.
Yeah.
Like, and we were just like talking for like the next like 6 months about basketball and like the
Yeah.
draft. And that's like where I started getting to know Tone like a lot. And then I started doing my own travel stuff. Tone like saw it. We like had talked prior. And then that was like kind of what I mentioned before like the podcast started. It was more of, it's like I had said something to Tone, Tone said something to me. And then like once the time came where it was time to like talk to D about it, then he told D about me. D saw my stuff. D, like, they reached out. So that's like what I was like meaning when it's like you just have to put the pieces in place, and like once that authentic relationship builds, then that's when the authentic relationship will come back to you.
Yeah.
So the realer you are, like, the better it is. So
Yeah, you created a foundation for yourself basically with being just genuine with a random guy.
Yeah.
By chance happens to
sure.
be D'Angelo Russell's brother, and then it kind of trickles into that. That's very
Absolutely.
cool. Because the reason why I really ask about it is because it's a job that's like seems really unattainable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how does somebody from
Yeah, you're not taught in school that this is a job
right
that
right,
you can
right.
actually chase.
How
you
how
know?
do you just become a NBA
Yeah.
All-Stars like video guy? You're not the video guy for like the 12th man on the bench, you know? Like that's why I asked, because I think it's important to share stories like that for people to realize like, oh, I actually could fuck around and become
an
NBA person, NBA players content person.
But I think that's a shout out to kind of what you just said. It's like you don't get taught in school that, but like that's even like a testament to John. It's like now because of social media, like more people see stuff like this and see stuff like that we do. But like when we were growing up, like you didn't see stuff. So that's why why I have so much respect for like Cole Bennett in itself. It's like this man created this empire without any sort of really direction. Like he didn't really have anybody to follow.
Figured it out on his own.
Yeah, like we kind of have like, I mean, for me, it's like a little bit different because there's a couple people in the league that do stuff, but like even like Johnny, he kind of sees like what Cole can do, but then it's like I still have to figure this whole realm out on my own because I don't have a foundation at school or on YouTube that gives me a step-by-step
Everybody's
guide.
path's different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I guess the next question we could segue into, you said obviously you and D'Lo are extremely tight now. You guys are living together, correct?
Yeah.
Clay put on here, you guys live together, assuming.
Yeah, well, I'm just curious about the logistics of it. Like, so you said that he doesn't like to say that you work for him, y'all are brothers, like, which is honestly fantastic to hear. But like, obviously he's giving you a place to sleep, food, transport, this and that and the other. But like, is there, and you don't have to go too far into details, but like, is there like a salary on top of that? Like, are you getting a check from him? Like, I'm just curious how that works.
I won't get too deep into it, but I will say like D and Tone are putting me in a position to be way more than what I am now.
That's amazing.
So that's what I'll say.
Probably way more
Which is a
important than a
testament
check
to you
every
guys'
week.
relationship too.
Yeah.
I'm sure they want to see you win just as bad as you want to see them win.
So that's like something that's like surround yourself with people that you want, like-minded people that you want to like be better than, or not better than, but like be a better version of yourself. And so that's like what's cool about all this is because they have their own goals and vision, but that also includes like our group, our like core group that we like are with all the time, and like we just want to build like our own little empire. So it's like it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
That's honestly a perfect segue to the question that I kind of wanted to wrap up with, but I can't ignore it now. Like, ultimately, like, where do you want to go with all this? Because yes, of course, it's awesome. What you're doing right now is fantastic. I'm sure it's crazier than what you ever expected yourself to do, but I gotta imagine this isn't the last stop. You know, you're not just gonna follow D'Angelo Russell around with a camera for the rest of your life. Like, ultimately, what do you want out of this? How does this evolve for you?
I think it's forever evolving. I think like you guys can attest to this with like the whole Soul Serum stuff. John can with the whole like videos, and like you with the podcast. It's like it's forever evolving of what you want to do. And like when I started, I never saw myself doing this, so I probably never am going to see whatever one of the next steps are. But D is always going to be like one of my guys. Like he's the guy. Like of all my friends, like I have a close group of friends. that I call my best friends, and he's right there in that group, and like I would do anything for him as he would for me. So I know at the end of the day, like I'm always going to be there to film those big moments because like he's got a lot of big moments left.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
But then when it
He's
comes,
he's only had a few big moments so far.
Yeah,
He's got a lot more to go.
For sure. But like just for him, like I remember like one of our first conversations, like we talked about like what his vision was and like what he wanted me to do, and he was like, but that doesn't mean like when one of these days when Drake reaches out and says like, yo, like who did this video for you, and I say you, and he asks you to like go do this show, he was like, you're gonna go do it type stuff,
right? Absolutely.
So it's like he wants me to like reach out and go do things for other people and like expand, grow like my own little business and network and stuff. So
so that's what you think you see you do, like correct me if I'm wrong, but like you love capturing moments. You love capturing like those intimate, you know, like wow, like documenting really.
Absolutely.
With D'Lo. Is that what you see, what you want to do with your brand? For like, you know, you said Drake, so I'm guessing artists,
I mean,
shows.
It's really just like anything. So I feel like if you look at like cameras in general, like cameras were made in like the art in itself is to capture moments to gift, so that way those moments can like last forever.
Yeah, they'll be here when you're gone.
Exactly. So it's like timeless. So for me, where I like get like the energy and like the like smile on my face is after I create something and it's like to give to D or to give to whoever. It's like,
did you see their reaction?
Yeah, like that's
priceless.
Insane. Yeah, like
once his career is over, when he goes back and watches like the trade video of him getting sent to Minnesota, that's gonna mean so much for him, like emotionally. Like that's to have been able to like immortalize that moment is pretty amazing.
We were in my my room in Miami, and he was like, I was just like going through like one of my like hard drives, and it was like right around the trade time. We were just sitting there like watching some of the stuff, and like we were just literally in there for hours, just like, wow, like I've never seen some of this stuff before, and he had never seen it. It was just like, this is sick.
Yeah.
Like he, especially in the NBA, like my life moves fast, but his, like he's constantly moving, constantly doing something. So his life probably goes by twice as fast as mine does. And like he probably doesn't even pick up on some of like the moments that like he can watch. So
absolutely.
I remember like Drew, who does stuff for Devin, like he put on one of his comments, was like, imagine watching this when we're 50. And like that was just like
for real.
Like crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a hip hop based podcast, and I wanted to get into some music type of realm of questions. Has hip hop or just music in general like motivated your craft in any way? And actually, just answer that question first, and I got one after that.
Yeah, I think I've had a better appreciation for songs now that like I do what like I do, and it's a lot of songs that I like missed the gems that were being dropped when I first started listening to them. So like one is like I listen to this song and every single time it just puts me in this like wow like mode, and it's Cameras by Wiz Khalifa. And that song is just like the nostalgia of it and everything is just like yo. And so like things like that. But yeah, if music in itself, like I wouldn't be where I am without music, whether it is like a hip hop song that we drop or like a throwback Wiz song or just like a cinematic song. It doesn't really matter, but like music is just at its core, it's just so freeing and stuff like that. So yeah, this was
a question that just popped up. So like obviously you pick songs when you know drop like videos with D'Lo and stuff. Like what's like your process as far as like choosing the song?
Does he like give you a list and he's like, here, I like these 10 songs right now?
No. So that's the beauty of being able to live with him and like be around him like 24/7 is that him and his brother like Tone are huge into music, and so they're listening to songs all the time. And so I'm over here, like I'm listening, and I'm like, my taste in music has grown because of them. But I'm over here, I'm like, oh, yo, I could see this working with this. I'm like, I put it in a folder. But
every video creator has like a song folder. Sure. I swear, everybody's got one.
And so, but as far as like the process goes, like the trade video, the songs that's in that, like, it's like 2 days before the trade deadline. We're in New York, and it's like us and like, we're in an SUV with like 4 friends, and the song comes on. Everyone's going crazy to it. And I listened to like the first like 10 seconds of it, and it's like the beat drop, blah, blah. And I'm like, yo.
It's under the sun,
Yeah,
right?
under the sun.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I have to, like, if something does happen in the next 2 days, like, this is the song.
Yeah.
So like that's it's crazy, like the universe, God, however you want to say it, like throwing that into like my like mindset, because I've listened to the song multiple times but never once did I think about it. But in that moment, hearing the song, and like I have a video of it, and I'm like looking back, and like the whole SUV is going crazy.
And then like going off of like that, segueing off of what you were saying, when you really are aware and paying attention to what D'Angelo's listening to, just like I think that ties in with capturing moments and like really paying attention to like what you guys are like listening to and stuff. Who specifically, or what type of music specifically is like D-Lo and these guys like listening to? Like, are you getting put on like on the regular by these guys, or like vice versa?
So I'll say this, like D is a big Gunna guy.
Gunna.
And so
D'Angelo, come on the pod, bro. Hey, we could talk about Gunna all day.
So that's like naturally made me like huge on him.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I ever like made video for him. Like I don't even remember what Gunna song it was, but it was for like a Gunna song. But he's huge on him. Tone, his brother, is big on Brent Faiyaz, which is
Brent
huge. Brent
Nice.
Faiyaz, like the song he just dropped with 2 Chainz and Kanye.
Yeah,
I'm like,
fire.
man, yo,
love
love it.
Love that. Yeah.
But like Baby, like people like that, like they listen to like a lot of the stuff like a lot of mainstream people listen to. But I mean, I could say like Gunna's for sure is
Fire. Gunna's music, like especially Wanna, it has that exotic like you want to be in like Calabasas or like somewhere just listening to Wanna, bro. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. It's hypnotizing almost.
He's got like such a unique sound too.
Yeah.
Like, yo. So
one more. I too am kind of a NBA nerd, as you called yourself. And I'm not really like, I could ask a million things about the behind the scenes of the NBA, but I'm gonna keep it very brief. But one thing that I want to know for you personally, what is you've been in the back halls of a lot of NBA arenas, a lot of different teams. What is the most starstruck you've ever been at an NBA arena?
Like you just froze.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was probably the first game I went to. And I flew out to San Fran the day before the first game against the Clippers. And like I was obviously nervous. I was like, yo, like this is crazy.
Yeah.
And so I went to the first game, and they had never like sent any like person like me, like Tone and D, like this is their first time doing stuff. So they're trying to figure out like, all right, how do we get him these passes? How do we do this and this? So,
and this is at the new Warriors arena.
And so, if you can imagine, new stadium, Steph Curry, like you're the
D'Angelo Russell also.
That's crazy because like I remember when we were in college, we used to watch the Warriors all the time, bro.
Oh wait, hold on.
Bro.
I don't know. John, will you check that? I don't know what the fuck. That's super weird. We got sidetracked there by some technical difficulties, but we're back at it. So it's the first game.
Yeah.
Warriors new stadium. D'Lo's new to the team. Steph Curry is a god to those people. Like, and you said they're playing the Clippers?
The Clippers.
So Kawhi, PG, that's their first game. Dude, that's insane. That arena was probably rocking.
Yeah, I don't know how many NBA games I went to, but that was like for sure the most like pregame as far as like news coverage and people there. I've never seen it before. Like obviously it's the first game of the year, but then you have the new look Warriors without Clay and then without KD, but then you have the new look Clippers with Kawhi, PG, Lou, like all these guys. So first off, that was insane. And I get there and I'm by myself because I have to get there early to like check in, do all these different things. I will like film D walking in, and then he's out in the locker room doing his own thing. And I'm just out there like on the sidelines with like all these people. Like I have like a little media pass and it says like Logan Linkmeyer game 1, like D'Angelo Russell. And all these people around, I'm like, what? like I remember like I filmed like, it was like the cheesiest moment I've ever did in my life, but I'm glad I did it now. Like I like put the camera on me, and I'm like over here in the corner, so I'm like, I don't really know if I want people to see me. Like, I gotta act like I've been here before.
Yeah.
And like I was just like, I shook my head and I said wow, and like I held up like the media pass and like to the camera, and I think that was the most starstruck I'd been because I'd never experienced anything like it.
You
Yeah.
went from like no like NBA experience
Yeah.
really to like one of the most heightened
You were thrown in the
moments of last
trenches,
season.
bro.
It was crazy, and like it's cool because like Tone and D are like they're fans of like life and people and like in the NBA like players
Yeah.
like that. It's like they still have like their moments and stuff, but then Tone, he called me the other day and he said like, how crazy is it that you went to like the first like Pacers Lakers game and watched D, and now like you're doing what you're doing, and like it's cool to have them be able to like
Damn.
have moments like that with me, because like everything that I do, like, yeah, it's like a part of my life, but I never want to think of it as like normal because I don't want to ever take advantage of those things.
Right.
So yeah, but that first game, bro, it's like
That's insane.
nothing like it. You
Well,
know?
so you also, I mean, obviously D'Angelo's friends with like Devin Booker, Kat, other people from the NBA. So are you also, I mean, like, are you just like in the living room chilling with these dudes? Like,
yeah, that was like another moment. I was just like, wow, like,
yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
yeah.
But now, like being able to be around them, like those two especially, like I say this to like my friends back home when I come back here, it's like they are so confident in who they are that they don't have like they're not insecure about other things, and they're just so real. It makes them like such a real person.
Yeah.
And they can have real conversations and treat you, whoever you are, like such a real person because they're just so confident and real with who they are.
Yeah.
And that's like something that I've learned from those two especially.
Yeah.
And like try to bring back to my friends. So
Let's tap into that a little more.
Wait,
like-
well, before you ask that, we're just gonna fuck that. Just leave that camera. I don't mind. Do you want to? Would you? Okay. All right. Yeah. No, run it then. Go for it. All right. So technical difficulties again, but here we're back. I don't really remember where we left off, so
I
you
do.
can just. Go
I was gonna
ahead.
say, you were saying that like you've learned a lot from like being around D'Angelo, being around these NBA players that are at this such like high level of like competition of sport. Like what are like the main things you've like taken away from like being around these guys? Like what have you like what's elaborate more on like what you've really learned from this journey so far?
yeah, I'll say this quote, and I got it from someone I met through D and book, and his name's Casey Waters. And if you guys are into any kind of
I listened to his podcast
Bro.
with you. Hey, Casey, shout out, brother. I appreciate you for the research.
bro, he is such an interesting mind. But he said this like quote to me, and I don't know if he made it up or he heard it somewhere, but he was like, being you is cool. And I said it, I think, in his podcast, and like that is like the coolest thing I could ever say that I've learned through like being with him, is like being yourself is cool.
Yeah.
Like that's all you you are who you are, so just be yourself.
Mhm.
And that's who like I learned from D and book the most, like because they're who they are, and they got to
Yeah.
where they are by being themselves.
Like you said, they're very sure in themselves. They're very
Yeah.
confident.
They know what they bring to the table.
Right.
So that was one thing that I for sure learned. And that's like what comes like being like authentic.
There's nothing that like people of notoriety or people who even like people who have like a low level of celebrity or something, like there's nothing that they recognize and appreciate more than when somebody treats them just like they're a human
Yeah.
being, just
Yeah, I
like
was
they're a
gonna say
normal
that.
person. Because I mean, like, how many situations have you been standing next to D and like somebody's just like kissing his ass and just
Yeah,
being a
for
suck up
sure.
because he's like, this NBA guy is crazy, and it's just like, fuck, dude, like
They're human
like-
beings at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And they
sure.
wanted to be treated as such.
he's
for
going to
sure.
sleep tonight. He's going to wake up tomorrow morning, just
Yeah.
like you and me are too.
Yeah. I think there's like two ways to look at that, and like I think another reason why I respect him so much is because how he like handles those situations is because he's still a fan of life and like people and stuff too. So when people come up to him and like are like fanning out, it's like he understands
Yeah,
that.
he puts
It's like-
himself in their
right.
shoes.
yeah,
like,
it's like whether he's their favorite player or not, it's like this could be the closest like they ever are to somebody in the NBA
Yeah,
or like
true.
any kind of like celebrity.
yeah.
And so that's like another thing that's really cool because he can like not handle, but he knows how to handle those situations where it's like you could be making that dude's year. He could be going through something. You can make his life. Like you don't know.
Totally.
So That's
Totally.
really dope.
This is like really random, but
Please, go for
it
it.
literally just popped in my brain. Do you and D'Angelo ever talk about the video of D'Lo going, "He ain't even stretched though," when Blake Griffin did that dunk or whatever?
I've never had a direct conversation with about it, but I remember it like resurfaced this year.
Yeah, that
and-
shit goes viral.
Bro,
It,
like,
once a
for
year,
sure.
once a year it goes.
And like my DMs and like everything were like blowing up. It was like, oh, you like show D this, blah blah. And like no, I haven't, but I had seen like other stuff where he was like making fun of like him saying that, and it was like he didn't even stretch though.
That's
Like,
so
Yeah.
funny.
So, but I mean, that's just who he is. Like he's a funny guy, and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
he's-
I think the last thing is this the last thing, or do you have something else?
No,
Okay.
not at all. Go ahead.
You were talking about like the beginning of the podcast, that you didn't really know what you wanted to do yet. You're in your accounting major in college, whatever. Everybody goes through that and not really knowing what they want to do. If you could go back, like right now, yourself right now, and have a conversation with that younger Link, like knowing what you know now, what you're doing now, the journey that you're on right now,
Yeah.
the vision that you have right now, like what would you tell him?
enjoy the journey. And I think the reason for that, and you could probably attest to this too, it's like I wouldn't be who I am or where I am if I like did things differently.
Yeah,
and
100%.
I had to go through some shit to like get here.
Yeah.
And it's like the same way with you, like
Yep.
everyone has to do it.
Yeah.
And so it's like enjoy it, because those shitty moments, those late nights, like not being able to sleep or whatever you go through, it's like just remember that there's like a light at the end of the tunnel, because like you only get one life. You might as well enjoy it. And if you enjoy the journey, that destination of wherever you're going is going to be so much more rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably what I would say.
Yeah.
But before we go, I do have a couple of things I want to talk about.
Go.
Yeah, please,
All right,
please
all
lay it
right.
on us.
So Tanner, this whole soul stream thing's crazy. First off, because
Yeah.
like you said before, I think before the podcast started, we were talking about freestyling in the basement.
Yeah.
So it was, I don't even remember who all was with us, but you had this conversation with me about Lil Uzi, and it was like, bro, this guy's going to have a crazier like come out year than Travis Scott. And at the time, Travis was like, Travis is Travis now, obviously.
Yeah.
But at the time, Travis was like, yo, like it's Travis Scott. And I think like a month later, he like came out with a project. I don't even remember what it was, but we went down to Formal, and me and you were the only two that were like knew what the song was coming on.
Bro, people were
playing.
giving me shit for
Exactly.
playing Uzi at Formal.
And it was like,
I was
yo.
like, bro, shut the fuck up. Y'all
Exactly.
don't even know.
and then like lo and behold, like Lil Uzi now.
Yeah. Everybody's bumping.
Another one,
That's so
which
funny.
is crazy in itself now, just like after everything that happened, it was when Zach, we were doing stuff with Zach. Like you were the guy that like I'm pretty sure sent me the first Juice World on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And then like not even like a month later he got signed, and then obviously he blew up.
Yeah.
And it's Juice World. But that was like another one. So it's like seeing you do all that and then come to where you are now is insane.
Yeah.
But also because when we were in the basement, I remember you were talking about, it's like, I think I want to make beats or do something, blah, blah, blah. Like,
I was
really,
fucking around FL Studio for a little bit.
and like, you were like, I just want to do something in music and stuff. And so that's like another thing that I think people need to realize is like, you might know what you really like, but you don't know how you're going to get into that lane yet.
Yep.
And so like you found like your niche, like you found it, like you're doing what you like love to do, and like it's only going to evolve.
Yeah.
But it's like the people that they know they like this, it's like just start messing around in that realm.
Yeah.
It's
You
like,
gotta try things, bro. Like, God, I feel like I've tried everything in music, from producing to try to manage artists to literally freestyling in the basement, into starting a brand, throwing a show, connecting the dots with the artist and the producer, booking artists to do music videos with us. Even like the bookkeeping, like logistics for Soul Serum. Like, I feel like I've touched like a little bit of everything, and now I finally like understand what Tanner Mavis, like what my strengths are and what I personally like want to do with this music shit. And it's all because like what you said, like I knew I wanted to do music. I just didn't know what. And the only way you find out how is to fucking do it. Like do something. Don't just sit there and just think about it all day. Like, bro, people want you to fail. Like
Absolutely.
other people that don't
Especially in the
understand.
beginning.
Yeah, especially in the beginning when you're a nobody,
Yep.
they want to see you fail, and that's another thing. Like you gotta block out, other people's
For
opinions and block that shit out, which I struggled with at the beginning. But fuck that shit, bro. We got one life. Go after what the fuck you want to do.
Mhm.
Taste, do a little bit of everything,
Mhm.
and you'll eventually, by doing the work, by being consistent, you'll eventually figure out
Mhm.
like your own formula, your own destination, as you
Absolutely.
said. And bro, I act like I figured it out right now, bro. I'm still not even close where I want to
Absolutely.
be. Like,
But you're closer than
yeah,
where you
oh
started,
yeah,
though.
like when me and Link like first started like doing Soul Serum stuff, anything creative, like we started at the same time, and like
Yep.
I had these goals and stuff, and it's like
They were
back
huge.
then they were just like so far fetched.
Yep.
It's just like now, like bro, if I was to talk to my younger self like back in even like 2018 when Soul Serum first started, and like tell him all the things that I know now and all the accomplishments and goals that we've reached now, I like that kid will be fucking amazed, like no fucking way,
Yeah.
like no way you're right there.
You'd
Like
be
I'm
starstruck talking to your own self.
literally, like
Yeah,
literally,
for sure.
man. And like there's something like even all the accomplishments and goals aside, like you really learn like a lot about yourself,
Mhm.
like chasing a creative path, a path that's not what everybody else is doing.
Yep.
You're more alone than most people would be. You're by yourself, especially in a city like this where it's not
Nothing like that.
nothing
around.
like this is going on. You're trying to make this happen from the ground up, from the mud. And I don't know, I personally, when I reflect and I journal and stuff, I see a lot of like character growth in myself. And I think I'm not positive, but from my personal experience, like I feel like my character growth has kind of like sped up from me pursuing this type of thing. So like even if like you want to chase something like this and it doesn't work out to what you really had in mind, like you said, I feel like it pays off in the end. One way or another, something is going to pay off for you.
I mean, I don't believe in like failure unless you like just completely give up. But if whatever it is, like you don't succeed at it in like whatever you think you're like going to do, it's only going to get you that much closer to do something else because you learn more about yourself.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I will say like about you is like just looking at you and like being more self-aware about who I am, like being able to analyze you more. One thing you've always been since I met you is like you've looked at somebody and saw the absolute best in them more than they probably ever could. So like you did that with me before I even really made videos. I'm sure you do that with John now. You do that with Clay. Like, and so like that's like one thing like you probably do with all these like artists. Like they might have like this vision for themselves and like you see their talent and you're really good at picking it out. But then you're like, nah, bro. Like you're not even touching the surface of what that is.
Yeah.
So
behind the scenes, a lot of these artists are very self-conscious about their art, about who they are. It's and like I said, life. Like I think Brick said it on the podcast.
The greatest musicians and the greatest artists and creators ever are self-conscious, straight up.
Yeah, like Brick said it on the podcast. Life is very real for these artists, and I'm not the one making the music, so I can't fully put myself in their shoes. But like, I know talent when I see it. I know potential when I see it. Yeah. And that, like, it's amazing how you pointed that out because I've figured that out in myself, like, especially as of recently, like I love being the one to be able to instill confidence in someone. Like, bro, like, you're the fucking shit. Like, go after this. Like, you really got something. And like, shit has turned out pretty good for a lot of these artists. For sure. Going back to like your failure point, like you don't believe in failure. The best thing that I heard, and I read this book, Think and Grow Rich. Failure is only failure if you fucking quit. Like it's only temporary defeat. That's all failure is. All you gotta do is make a new plan. Temporary failure, temporary defeat only means that your plan sucked. Make a new one.
I mean, the cliche, like the light bulb, like it was like you failed however many thousands of times to get it right once. I mean, that's
Straight
really
up.
how life is. It's like you only have one life, so you're gonna get a lot of shit wrong in life. Like you're not perfect, nobody is. But like even sorry,
I was gonna say no. You please, sir.
One more thing, and like I wanted to like talk to you about it, but like I know John's behind the camera, but it's like with John, I can probably relate to him even more. It's like when you first start putting out like these like videos, especially with like the music videos and stuff, it's like, what's everyone gonna think? Like this isn't really that good. Like I fucked up here. Like this isn't that right. I didn't track this perfectly. Like whatever the mask isn't right. It's like you're going to critique yourself and be like, wow, this sucks. And like looking back, I'm sure he does the same thing. And looking back on like a prior video, it's like, what the fuck was I doing? But
John thinks the videos he did last month are fucking ass.
and that's the beauty of like who he is as a creator, because he wants to be better and like he knows he can be. And this is just like, this is the worst John will ever be. You know what I mean? And that's what's crazy. But it's like the same with you. It's like, and that's why I was like talking about with Tanner. It's like Tanner sees that in people, and it's the same with you. It's like this whole podcast. It's like I know like you guys had like the vision and stuff before, and you guys are still like you're on the way. Yeah, but it's like he looks at you and he's like, yo, like we can do something with this. And
this is the best podcast host I know, bro.
This is the third time I've started a podcast. This one's gone the best, obviously.
Bro, I could never be a host. Like I'm better being like just somebody just like chiming in on conversation, and you know I'm good at like getting people like you, artists, in like I'm in the trenches of the DMs on Instagram. Like I can get people in here, but he's the one that can really like
trenches of the DM. That's facts though, bro. That is honestly, that's something that we've learned, something that keeps coming up on this podcast that we keep finding out is the internet does a lot for people as far as communications, access of communications, but also to just kind of try and make this full circle, one of the first things you brought up was authentic relationships.
For sure.
Every single person that we've had on this podcast, when we asked them about how did you do this, how did you develop that, how did you get here, it almost always starts with an authentic relationship with somebody. And the sooner that you can recognize that and show a random person that you are genuine and serious, and you take what you do in a very professional manner, then it can only go up from there at that point.
And I think like this is another reason why like social media is so beautiful, is because in the beginning, and like even like I look at like social media in like the past couple years, it's like people can see, like in the beginning, if you did like an influencer type thing, not crapping on any influencers at all, but like you had like the people that really did stuff and they're really out there like doing what they do. But then you have like the people that just like front that they do these things. Yeah. It's like now I feel like more than ever people can see the difference.
You're just exposing yourself.
Exactly. Absolutely. And so that's where I think like the authentic relationships come in more and more. And like on social media, like you can start building more and more relationships, because you can tell when someone's like not really all what they say they are and what they really are.
Totally.
And so that's where that authenticity like on the internet comes along. And that's why I still love social media to this day, especially if you use it properly.
Yeah.
And so like authenticity, man, like that for sure, in my opinion, is the key of life.
Yeah.
The universe will reward you when you're authentic. You know,
good people always
blessings
connect
will
with good
fall
people.
on your lap. I've had things that just fall on my lap that I'm just like, how the fuck did this just
funny how it works sometimes.
Yeah, like I always think about like Jack, like he's blown up now
for sure, and
like dude, like I literally just like found him and I said, yo, your shit is crazy, like we should shoot a video. We shot a video, put it out. Week later, shit just fucking blows up, and like in the span
currently at 200K views.
Yeah, like in the span of 2 months, this guy's up, signed to one of the biggest record labels in the industry, and it's just like,
yo,
it's like I've all of my preparation and like hard work and putting myself out there like led up to like those moments. Like I was praying for a break too, and we finally got it. Like you'll eventually get it, you know.
I remember when this is the first time I met John too. I remember when Tanner, we were like, like Jack Harlow's coming in town, and he was in a free concert in Madison Live.
Yep. I was there. Yeah, I
so
remember.
It's like now Jack he's out here doing it's
huge.
Number 2 song on Billboard.
Yeah, like he's
pretty big.
Here, like doing stuff with like Boy Wonder and stuff. So it's like Jack Harlow is Jack Harlow. Yeah. And like I remember like you were like singing Ice Cream and all these different things. We went to the concert and stuff, and that's another crazy thing. Like I gotta like have a conversation with Jack when we did the protest video. I was like, I don't remember if you know like this like thing or the concert you did at Madison Live in Cincinnati, you did it for free. He was like bro, like that was forever ago, blah blah. And like I said, like I actually did a video for that, and he actually remembered it, which is crazy in itself. Yeah, but it's like it's just funny how life goes full circle. Like Jack, I was doing that stuff with you back then, and now it's like we're here doing this. Like who knows what happens in 5 years from now, or even more in our own lanes.
For sure. Well, wrapping up here, is there anything else that you want to say? Do you have any other points? If not, what's next for Link the World?
I don't really have any more points. Like we went through a lot of stuff. I'm a rambler, so I probably rambled a little bit.
No, that's what we like.
That's what the podcast is about.
Yeah, for sure. For me, like I just started like my actual like own like brands, like Link the World. Like I ran with that, and I really like that. I've started like a little my own little production company. I say little right now, but it soon won't be. But with like 2 or 3 other creatives from this area that are really dope.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, just growing that and like just building a name for myself, and not really for myself, but really just to kind of show people, especially around here, that you can do something that's not normal. And that's what I think is like cool, is like being bigger than yourself so you can let somebody else be better than themselves. I think is crazy. So that's really what it's all about.
So, wow,
Beautiful
you were really
way to
good
end
at
it.
closing podcasts, man. That was great. Well, fuck, you heard the man. It's been another great episode of the Soul Serum podcast. Remember, as always, to like the video, subscribe to us on YouTube, join the Discord. I got all the graphics up right here, right now. And as always, I'm your host, Clay Bonine.
I'm your co-host, Tanner Mavis.
I'm Logan Linkmeyer.
You want to look? That's your camera right
I'm
there.
Logan Linkmeyer.
All right, thanks for coming on, Logan. I appreciate it, man.
Sir.
We out.